Welcome to Jack of All Trades channel. Today we're going to cover the installation of a ATX power supply. It's a 500 watt version. The other day my daughter's computer stopped working. So what we did was we ran a test on the power supply. It was bad. So we're going to show you how to install a new power supply on a computer. It's basically the same thing with all computers. So stay tuned. What we're going to do is vacuum all this out, make sure it's nice and clean before we get started. And this is the power supply. Picked this up at a local computer store. And I'm going to open up the box. Let's see what we got here. We got a user manual, power cord, and the cables, a couple installation screws, okay, there you go. That's the power supply, all nice and clean. Make sure this is set to 115. It's got two different power settings. You want to keep it at 115. And top power. It's a no-name power supply. So what we're going to do is, because if you look in here, let's see, I get my wire. I hope that shows up. There's the wire right there. I'm just going to point with this wire. See that connector right there? It's a 4-pin connector. That's the CPU connector. You see that connector right here? That's your power connector to your motherboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the cables. And what we're going to do is, because this is a 20-pin, if you look at that adapter, you see this piece right here? With these 4 pins, you're going to break this off. These 4 and get rid of them. And you just use these 20 pins right here. See how it's separated? And the same as, and like I said, actually it's this one we use. Sorry, it's the wrong one. It's this adapter. See how the adapter's staggered? You're going to split this and use this. Like I said, these power supplies are designed for the newer computers and the older ones to adapt them. So, and then what we're going to do is we're going to plug it in. And if you look at the wires, you see that green wire right there? We're going to jump the green wire to the black wire right beside it. So, let me get out my... Hard to do this while holding the camera and showing you guys, but okay. Here's my pointer, so you see what I'm talking about. See that green wire right there? You're going to put a jumper from there over to here, or over to here. Doesn't matter which black wire you use. You're going to follow that pin up, and it's going to be, let's see if I can show you clear. It's going to be that pin right there. So it's that pin right there. And that pin right there. You're going to put a jumper wire between these two. And that's going to test the power supply to see if it works before we install it. So, and then you're also going to do that if you have a broken power supply and it doesn't work. You're going to run the jumper wire to the green pin and the black wire, and if your power supply works, your computer doesn't turn on, then it's your motherboard. So I already ran this test with the old power supply and found out it was a power supply. So we're going to test out the new power supply before I even bother wasting all the time to installing it, and make sure it turns on. And what you're going to want to do is when you do that, you see one of these Molex connectors? You're just going to want to connect it, excuse me, to a fan. Put like a load under it and then turn it on just to see if the fan spins. And if the fan spins, the power supply. Okay, so you're going to grab this connector here, and it's pretty basic. You don't have to cut it. You just see how it slides apart? It runs on a channel. Becomes two 4-pin adapters, and this one here, see that channel showing you? You just push up like that. There you go. Now it becomes a 20-pin adapter. So it's a good idea, these power supplies. They're multi-purpose, so you can actually use it for different types of motherboards. So we're going to use this connector. We're going to connect that to this part, and then we're going to connect, doesn't matter which one you use, one of these 4-pin connectors, and it's going to connect there. So let's, before we do that, we're going to test the power supply, make sure it's working. Okay, so I just grabbed a wire. Right there. I jumped those 2 pins, pushed them in, and I'm jumping the green wire with the black wire beside it. And I want to plug in a fan, plug in your power supply, and then you're going to turn it on. Now this fan should turn on. See how it's spinning? Works perfect. Shut it off. Switches go off. So this power supply is working. So that's how you test out your power supply. If you're not too sure if one doesn't work on an old computer that's broken, you're going to jump the pins, the green wire and the black wire together. There's different ways to, actually I've installed it that way. That'd be a little safer. That way the fan's blowing down, because there's no vents up here to get rid of the air. You want the air to blow out these vents. So you want the air to blow down and out, down and out. And also the logo's facing upward. So you're going to install it like that. Okay, so now the power supply is seated. We're going to install a screw here, install a screw here, install a screw here, and a screw there. We're going to do these screws up, and this will just hold the power supply into the case. Okay, so here hooked up the power connector there to the CD-ROM drive, the other CD-ROM drive, floppy drive, and the hard disk. And then we ran the fan connector, hooked up all the fans. So let's give this a shot and see what happens. So, and that's hooked up there. Looks all good. Make sure you vacuum it all out. You don't want it to be dust free. Let's turn on the power. Here comes the true test. Look at that. We got fan. Put the hand down there. Lots of airflow. CPU's on. Both fans are on the case. Let's see what happens on the screen here. Oh. It'd help if I turn the power on. There we go. Let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, we got nothing on the screen right now. Let's hope the screen turns on. There we go. So I just saved myself from having to build another computer. So if you ever run into a dilemma,
like this,
with this power, you turn your computer on one day and it doesn't turn on, jump the green wire with the black wire to test it out. And if it powers up, then you know your motherboard's bad. If it doesn't power up, which is good for us, because that's good news, just go down to your computer store and purchase another power supply. And like I said, they come with 24, 20 pin, and you can just slide the pins apart, and it turns into both the old ATX standard and the new 24 pin standard for motherboards. So it's a universal power supply, 500 watt. The other one that was in here was a 400 watt. And I think I got about 10 years out of it. So there you go. Thank you for watching how to test your power supply and how to install a computer power supply. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to Jack of All Trades channels and look for more videos to come in the future. Guys, have a good night.